Oh, I've always loved him. Not his hot temper.
You know I had a hot temper?
My name is Reah Rowley, and I was born in Meadow, Utah, in my mother's bedroom. And we didn't have a hospital in the area. And I was born in 1933, and my parents had a lovely home. They were one of the first that built homes in that area. And the doctor delivered you in your parents' home.
My name is James Richard Rowley, and I was born in Fillmore, Utah. My parents had this little teeny, they only had one room, and that was where I was born. This is me when I was young.
I went to a small town school in Meadow, Utah, at grade school, and then at high school I went to Fillmore on the bus, and that's where I met your grandpa. And I think we fell in love pretty early, about 17, and we knew we were going to get married someday.
My dad
We're my parents'
friends. That's how we met.
I lived in a little town and he lived in Fillmore. I would come to Fillmore on the school bus and we'd be together all evening, and then I had to go home on the school bus. He was pretty mad if I even dated anybody else. He was so jealous, and I loved it. We went to the matron of the Beehive House and told her we were getting married. And she said, "Who are you going to marry?" And I said, "Well, you've met him." And she said, "I thought that was your brother." We have had the funniest experiences through our life. But we got married in the Manti Temple. And my grandmother had to ride with us for fear we would change our mind on the way. That was the town dance, is when somebody got married.
Went.
Everybody went, even if you weren't invited. You matured. You were really spoiled. And so you had to learn that everybody wasn't the way Dick really wanted it.
Probably.
That's true. He was really spoiled. And see, I grew up with a big family, so you never got your own way. We moved in the apartment where you were living singular.
Okay.
And we didn't even...
we
bought a bed.
No, we bought a television.
Oh yeah, our first purchase. We had wedding presents money, so we bought a television.
And we had to sell that because of Shauna. Roslyn.
To pay for her.
To pay for her. And I had an appendix just about that time, and we sold the television because we didn't have enough money to pay for the doctor.
We thought she was the most beautiful little girl in the whole world. And you know what? Everybody did. Everybody was so happy for us. And about 10 months later, 11 months later, we had Shauna. And then about 2 or 3 years later, we had Dana. And then we didn't have Stephanie for about 3 years. And then it was about 6 years before we had Rick. They were happy children. And we always had a lot of neighbor children at our house, because that's where they liked to play. They were always putting on shows. Can you imagine that? And costumes, and I didn't think there was a hard part about it. I love being a mother. I still love being a mother and a grandmother. Nothing's been challenging. We never had much money, but we didn't need a lot of money. And we made the best of what we had.
One of the things I was thinking about when we went to Mexico, we went to Mexico and we didn't have any money, and we bought a really tiny.
And that was the most wonderful time in our life. There was just the two of us. Right now you couldn't do that, but it wasn't scary then. And we bought a piece of property. We had our trailer.
Trailer, that's what I was trying to say.
Trailer. And then we upgraded our trailer. We've done a lot of really brave things. We just like to be together. It doesn't matter whether it's in the kitchen, in the living room, or in the car. Wheels.
Thank you.
You know, Grandpa doesn't really have any idiosyncrasies that I have to put up with. I just always loved him.
I'm pretty perfect. Pretty perfect.
We had 5 kids. We had 25 grandkids. We had, and with everything, we had 105. A long time. 63 years?
63, 64 years.
I think it's 65 this year.
I know, she's pretty perfect. She's pretty perfect.
Well, I get on your nerves sometimes.
Oh, you know. She's a good cook. She is. And I left her for a long time. Forever. I just always loved her. I've always loved you.
I know that. I'm very jealous.
Okay.